Alright, what's up, YouTube, Rumble, whatever the fuck we putting this video on. We're here with another review. More of a reaction, ain't no review. I don't know what I'm talking about. Look, at the end of the day, bear with me. I'm new to the YouTube things. I am trying to minimalize as much of the editing process I gotta do. So we're gonna jump into this video. This is DJ Academics on why he interviewed Andrew Tate and why Vlad had turned down the interview. And we're gonna see why, we're gonna react why. I'm gonna let you know my perspective. Let's go ahead and get it cracking.
You also have to evolve over time.
True.
You have to evolve. Like, listen, we did a bunch of porn star interviews early on, and at one point it's like,
You said all the time, 22 now.
yeah, how did you do all though? You know, I mean, for example, and this is someone you've interviewed recently, Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate, you know, his people approached us to do an interview.
Yeah.
I looked him up, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm
I
good.
guess last week.
All the, you know, the sexual assault shit.
Yeah.
You know, him saying that he moved, to Romania, because he can get off on rape charges, and the way he downs women. Yeah, he actually said that. He said,
Hold on, bro. Vlad. We know Vlad would be getting his facts straight. This dude, so far, he's going off, based on what he said within these first 40 seconds, talking about based on this, and he actually said this when in reality that didn't happen, and it's probably taken out of context, and he didn't do his thorough due diligence. He didn't do a thorough investigation on this guy, Andrew Tate, which is unfortunate. Which, it makes me feel like Vlad is scared of something. I'm not too sure. Because for someone that is known to be thorough about, all these other rappers and actors and things that they do, and, through their quote-unquote investigation and their research, this is a little bit disappointing for Vlad not to do Andrew Tate, So let's go ahead and continue on and see what is said.
that's why he moved to Romania, because it's 40% of the reason, because it's easier to get off on rape charges.
That's a direct quote.
That's a direct quote. He even said that some of the women who have gotten raped.
Even academics like, you sure? Academics are getting most of his facts straight. I want to say all of his facts straight. When it comes to hip hop, he definitely gets his facts. Most of the mainstream hip hop, he gets his facts straight. Everything else, it's up in the air. You know what I'm saying? But even academics is like, you sure? But all right, let's go ahead and continue.
Weinstein is, they have to share responsibility in getting raped. There was a woman, there's a video of him beating a girl with a belt, calling her a whore, telling her to count her bruises. He's claiming it was a joke, whatever.
Bro, I know he did not just say that. He did not do a thorough investigation. He just did everything by hearsay. Maybe by what women say, what leftists are saying. I don't know. Why is Vlad scared to go ahead and have this guy on his platform? This would be the perfect platform. I think I saw somewhere in the comments somebody had mentioned. Let me see if we could go there right now. I'm gonna give this dude his credit right here. I saw it earlier. Oh, no. Let's read the comments real quick. What Vlad said is exactly what Tate was talking about when he said people aren't smart and don't take the time to really analyze things. If he did all that, do you think he could come to the U.S. and do the business he was doing? That's a valid question, valid statement, Vlad. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you scared of? Why are you not going ahead and interview at least the, as he calls himself, the top G? He's the most known, most Googled person in the last 6 months. Why not? This is the perfect opportunity, Vlad. And then this guy says, Charlie Lee Ray says, I'm beyond a long-term Vlad supporter. I damn near do certain things based off what Vlad has taught us since I was younger. I'm saying all this to say that this take on Tate is extremely disappointing. Damn, fans are disappointed, Vlad. People who support you are disappointed, Vlad, because you don't do your research, or you're scared. That's another thing. He might be scared. Vlad acted exactly how Andrew says people move nowadays. It's so crazy because I look at Vlad as one of the few men with logic that are left, especially online, which is true. I believe, for the most part, there's some certain things that Vlad has done that I'm like, why would he not do that? If for those who are an avid Vladtv watcher, y'all must have known of Godfrey and the other one. There's Godfrey, and there's another guy. He's like a 5%er. I forgot his name. They got into a back and forth based on misinformation that Mr. Farrakhan had said about Jews, and Vlad didn't want to apologize, but he has apologized for everything else before. So why would this be different based on misinformation? And Vlad is an atheist, so it's just like you don't even claim to be Jew. So why would you even care? Anyways, there's that. If you want to go ahead and research that, go ahead by all means. But there's a particular comment that I'm looking for, where I believe Vlad. Okay, right here, this guy right here, JB. I'm gonna go ahead and like this. All right, JB the Pharaoh, where it says Vlad interviews known admitted killers, snitches, rappers who serve time, Mike Tyson, Kevin Samuels, and Andrew Tate is where he draws a line. Got it. Like, why would you know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson is convicted of doing the thing of the R word, right? He is convicted of actually doing that act. Not saying that Mike Tyson was probably wrongly convicted, was probably set up. I don't know the story. I really don't know the story, but that could have possibly happened. And then Kevin Samuels lying about a lot of information about himself. The information that he was given was good, but the information about himself was a lie. As far as him, I believe, graduating with an engineering degree, if I'm not mistaken, certain businesses that he had beforehand, which turned out not to be true. So, but you come in here and have Andrew Tate and everything about here saying certain things, you just go ahead and not want to go ahead and interview this guy. Doesn't make any sense. But shout out to JB the Pharaoh. JB the Pharaoh. Let's go ahead and continue.
Well, my whole thing is like, it's so misogynistic. And yeah, on Vlad TV, me and Andrew Tate could probably get 10 million views. I get it, right? But low-hanging fruit is often rotten.
Boy, stop. Don't talk about low-hanging fruit when you're over here interviewing porn stars in 2013. Every single damn porn star that Pamela Henderson was going ahead and helping you out with. A lot of men out there know what I'm talking about. And then DJ Academics is also being agreeable, which is kind of sad. He's trying to be agreeable. Don't like that. Why don't you just stand on that? Why don't you stand on your so-called friend right there? You interview him. I think he had claimed him as a friend. Like, stand on that. Go ahead and stand on the fact that he's wrong and you should correct him and he should bring him on or X, Y, and Z. But I think Vlad most likely is scared to get canceled. He thinks he's going to get canceled. It has his brand tarnished because he has Andrew Tate. Because now that you got 5 million followers, now you want to act different. Why act different? The reason why I believe DJ Academics is able to do what he does is, one, the Spotify deal that he got. He doesn't have to worry about necessarily being canceled. I think he already been paid. I mean, Spotify already also got Joe Rogan, and he says a lot of controversial things. So I don't think, at the end of the day, I think Vlad is scared. He's really being scared. And that's unfortunate how these companies, how Vlad TV came up from these humble beginnings, going ahead and interviewing porn stars, mind you, and You know, that's low hanging fruit right there. Porn stars, my add you. Porn stars. There's nothing lower than that. As far as I guess being a celebrity, you're at the bottom. There's no, you're at the bottom. It's literally that. I mean, even regular people probably become normal people are right there in the midst of porn star, if that makes sense. As far as a credibility, as far as notability, as far as being respectable, right? Or as far as notability, like things like that. Like porn star is a low tier of fucking celebrity. You got Andrew Tate speaking his truth, and you're afraid to expose that on your channel because you think he's a misogynist. I believe that you probably interviewed misogynists before on your channel. I'm pretty sure he has. I mean, Kevin Samuels was damn near a misogynist. If you really kind of think about it, he was in the same lane. It's just the fact that the way that Andrew Tate goes ahead and portrays, it's his delivery, I would say. His delivery. As, for example, Andrew Tate's delivery is a lot better than my delivery. My delivery ain't shit right now. I'm working on it. I'm trying to be better, so go ahead and, criticize me and tell me what I need to do. I probably just need a mic to make my voice seem a little bit more clearer, a lot more, what's the term? A lot more, fuck it, whatever. The tonality of my voice maybe need to change. Easy to follow, that's what I should say. Easy to follow for my voice, because I hear my voice repeatedly now when I'm going through editing certain things, like as far as the background noises and things like that before I put it up on YouTube, and I don't like how I sound. Maybe a mic will fix that, but we're gonna go ahead and get our money up and get a mic. That's just how it is. If you bear with me now, you're gonna see the fruit later. So please bear with me. Back to Andrew Tate, but yeah, I think Vlad is just scared of his delivery, scared of the message. And I believe if he actually interviewed Andrew Tate, like he does these long forms of interviews, because Vlad interviews the most misunderstood people. And sometimes when we do see the interview, that when we start to see that other side of that person, of that actor, of that celebrity, we get a better understanding through an interview like Vladtv, for example, or any other interview at that. So it's hard for me to go ahead and support Vlad on this crap. And you can see already the first 3-4 comments of people who are avid Vladtv followers don't even like what Vlad is talking about. So
get to a point where, yeah, you may be known for this, but you have to grow and evolve, because as you get bigger, you're under a bigger microscope, you have more to lose, and you're trying to build a brand.
You said it just right there. He's scared to lose his brand. That's all. He's scared. Period. You get so big, you're scared. You're scared of what, Vlad? You made millions upon millions of dollars. You have your shit on YouTube. You have your website. What are you scared to, like, you're scared of, basically he's scared of the government taking his shit down, or the socialists, or you call the big companies of Google, Facebook, YouTube, all that, like, scared to take his stuff down. Because he saw what happened to Andrew Tate, or I'm not sure if this came, I don't know if he did his interview before everything got, before he got banned, before Andrew Tate got banned, or after, or during the process, I don't know. But it seems like he knew that, all that stuff, he was saying is, he's going to get banned. It seems like Vlad knew something. That's what it seems like. So, Vlad is just being scared, There's no...
You can withstand.
With all the money that Vlad has right now and building up his company, he should be able to build a website host that is not going to be able to be taken down. Period. That's all I got to say.
And all the little cancel cultures waves that
Scared
come
to get
from time
canceled,
to time. And my thing was like, I'm good. I interviewed Kevin Samuels. It was a dope interview, but we never did another one. because I'm like, some of the shit he says about women and so forth, I wasn't really feeling. And women around me, especially black women, were like, we're not feeling this. You know, this is insulting. And I'm like, okay.
You never did another one with Kevin Samuels because he died. That's my assumption. Because there was something that Vlad was saying with TK motherfucking Kirkland. I remember. TK motherfucking Kirkland. He had said that he wanted to set something up with TK Kirkland and Kevin Samuels, and just so it didn't happen because because Kevin Samuels died. So Vlad saying this, he's already lying already. Vlad is fucking scared. Vlad is scared. And DJ Academics can already see it. He's like, damn, you kind of let me down. You can see it in his eyes. Look at his eyes. He's like, damn. But DJ Academics can't stand on nothing. And he's just afraid to go ahead and challenge Vlad. And I think because the reason why is DJ Academics, his morals are based on money. So if he doesn't think he's making more money on you, he's just going to be quiet and listen. It's a very flawed mindset. Because if you stand on something, stand on it on 100%. Stand on it 100%. You know what I'm saying? You know, stand for something or fall for anything. And that's what DJ Academics is, man. That's unfortunate.
You get it. And you have to put certain things
because he
aside.
knows it's not true.
Now, you interviewed him.
Yeah.
And, I mean, did he talk about any of this shit during the interview?
Well, I mean, some of the stuff you quoted, I didn't know too much about.
Yeah.
Really, the majority of stuff we talked about was just his view on just like, you know, relationships. You know, and I think people, there is a avid push these days. It's like almost like men's rights advocates that, you know, kind of want men to view relationships. Like, I think there's a big push for polygamy these days. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, hey, high value man, you get all the women you want.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I think he's one of the charismatic people who could explain in a way that's somewhat palatable to many dudes who want to hear that message. So there is a place for it. Now, some of those other things that you just straight up describing just crimes. You know what I mean?
No, his house got raided.
Yeah,
You know, for like, you know, holding women hostage and rape type shit. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I look,
bro, you serious?
him up, I'm like, I'm not feeling this.
You looked him up and you say you're not feeling this, but you looked him up and didn't even really dig on the real evidence. You heard allegations. How do you think, oh my gosh, how do you think he's able to come back and forth from America if he's took an American woman from here to Romania and forced her upon her will? Do you not think the U.S. Embassy is knocking on the motherfucking door like we need our citizen back and you're under arrest on the international law, trafficking laws? You... Vlad, you're better than this. Vlad, you are better than this. This is hypocrisy at its finest, bro. Like, I've never seen some bullshit. Like, I don't even know. Like, I had to stop watching Vlad for a good year, based off what I was talking about earlier with the whole Godfrey incident. Got back on because you just can't, you can't get away from the Vladtv interviews. They're very entertaining overall. But dang, man, you're letting me down right now. Vlad letting a lot of people down. I think Vlad's going to change his mind if he actually does his due diligence. Or he's just scared because he has a lot of women employees or around him that, just are not, quote-unquote, feeling it. So therefore, they kind of make the decision for him because he's scared to lose that employee or that respect from a woman or whatever it is. So, like, him not feeling it is kind of weird, kind of odd. I think it's because of how big his brand grew. He never thought it was going to be this big, and now that it is this big, he's trying to tread carefully. And, I just say continue to do what you do and fight and just stand on what you believe in. This is nothing but somebody's truth. Why would you want to go ahead and silence the voice? Like, as an interviewer, that's the whole point, is trying to get people's trying to get people's mindset. You're trying to get that better understanding of who they are and how they are and why they act that way. You know, like that's the whole point of the interview. That's the whole point of an interview somebody that interesting. Like, come on, man.
I'm just simply not feeling it at this point in my life.
Yeah, well, I think you try to have an explanation, but I mean, that
Everyone's
was
got an explanation. I get it, but at the end of the day, I'm not a misogynistic person.
Yeah.
I am a man, and I have probably an 85% male audience, and I understand that, and I cater to that. But at some point, you say, it's not worth it.
Well, I think he fits in the same bubble in the sense of like the message being preached and the audience that he's looking for that goes with it. I think I told you about these guys. I tried to get you an interview. Fresh and Fit.
Yeah.
There's like a huge push. I think Kevin Samuels was, and to a certain extent, I think Andrew Tate's a replacement for Kevin Samuels.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel that Kevin is trying to take Kevin Samuels' place now that Kevin passed away.
I definitely feel like that's wrong. I don't think he's trying to take anybody's place. He's just trying to take over his marketing, right? Andrew Tate is not the guy that he's just trying to replace the face, the so-called face of the manosphere or whatever the fuck it is. Because Kevin Samuels, on the other hand, he was cool. A lot of things that he said was, you know, something you should follow, but I believe there was some character flaws. You know, at the end of the day, I'm flawed too, but I'm not going to go ahead and try to portray something that I'm not. That's one thing. This dude really tried to say that he had an engineering degree and he had these certain businesses, and they came out to be not true. Andrew Tate, from so far, what I've understand and the stuff that I've researched, he's lived everything he said. Now, his delivery is one thing. That's it. The only thing that gets people off guard is the way he delivers his message, right? So it's one of those things of, it's not what you say, it's how you say it type of deal. You know, because a lot of people have been saying what he's been saying for a long time. There's nothing new. But how he's saying it is definitely new. How he's saying it and how he's delivering it is something new. We haven't seen somebody influx the algorithm of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok like the way he did it. And he doesn't even have an actual account of any of them. Besides, I think on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. So I just think, you know, they haven't seen it on that type of level, and they had to shut that down because of the way it was, you know, being presented. That's some clever marketing, well executed marketing, and he would have kept on going throughout the year if he hasn't been stopped. Real talk.
I get it. I get the whole thing, but. Listen, in 2013, I probably would have done the interview because I'm just looking at the views.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking at just the views anymore. Our views are there. We got, 5.2 million subscribers at this point. And I try to really pick and choose what I want to put out there as opposed to, like, let me just chase the views.
Let me ask you
So he's just basically, Vlad's just telling me right now he a bitch. I don't think you're chasing any views if you interview Andrew Tate. What views are you chasing? You already have all the views. There's nothing to chase at this point. You're picking and choosing for what? You're picking and choosing to hide the truth? That's crazy. The fact that you're this big and you have a powerful platform now you're trying to pick and choose who gets to have a voice? That's unfortunate. And a lot of people need that. And the thing that's so crazy about this, these are the same people that complain because they didn't get into the big leagues of media, right? They weren't selected by the quote unquote hip hop the biggest hip hop medias back then, the double XLs back then, the whatever it was, those type of medias back then, because they didn't want to have their perspective. Now you're doing the same thing that they were doing to you, and it's as if you forgot where you came from, the truth. I don't understand how people get to this level and then all of a sudden forget what the truth is or what real media or what real perspectives are. Now you're picking and choosing because now, if you're picking and choosing, now you want to go ahead and display a certain message out there. Now you're trying to play more apolitical. That's very, You're picking and choosing. That's politicking. To me, that's politicking. You're picking and choosing. That's, I don't know too much about gangs, but I do know about gang politics or just politicking, right? How Bloods and Crips be working together from documentaries I've seen. They be working together on certain things and trying to kill another Blood or Crip set. Yeah, Crips killing each other because they're gonna be fucking with their own politicking, bruh. It's crazy. Like, it's just wild the fact that Vlad has gotten to this point where he's gonna go ahead and pick and choose instead of just go for the truth. Instead of choosing the truth, and the truth doesn't have to be one thing. There's many truths. People have their own perspectives of life. I think that's the whole point of having these interviews. And hopefully one day I could get to that point of getting everybody's perspectives. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and continue with this video and wrap it up.
It's the money. Let me ask you a question, because say even if I knew all that, right, going into that interview, which I didn't, it was really sporadic. He had just, I shoot at the Fresh and Fit studio. He had just did their show. And they were like, hey, you want to, he's about to film a podcast. You want to do academics podcast? It was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I thought we had a great conversation. Now, even if I knew all that, I probably would have still done it. Just because the way, I like to sit down with people who I either disagree with. I sat down with Candace Owens. Then,
I was surprised you did that.
I'll sit down with most people who aren't putting out into the world things that are, I believe, of imminent harm to people. Different ideology. I'll even sit down with people I agree with and just play devil's advocate, because there's multi sides of a coin. You know what I mean? It's not, well, there's only two sides of a coin, but it's different sides of a die, right? And in reality, it's like, I love conversations that push people to think for themselves.
See, that's respectable. But the only thing with DJ Academics is he's, I don't know. With him, he's interviewing almost when he's interviewing snitches, which is fine, bro. Which is fine. People who extort people, whatever. So I guess it's in his lane, regardless, right? At the end of the day. So I don't know. I might have to cut that one out. I got no perspective on that. I'm gonna go ahead and just let him speak. Actually, I got nothing to say. I'm just gonna let him speak. I know real.
And when I sat down with Candace Owens, I agreed with certain things she said, but I disagreed vehemently with certain things. But I could have just made those things saying, I'm not gonna sit down. And I'm like, well, how about you try to get educated about it and try to challenge her on it, and be a buffer to some of the stuff she's saying. Same with Tariq. I agree good amount with some of the stuff Tariq was saying, but certain stuff I don't fuck with at all either. I like the conversation. You get what I mean? Now, if I'm like, if I was sitting down with somebody who was just like, I like to murder is good, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a serial killer, I wouldn't do that. But if somebody has a different opinion, and I think that
But Vlad has.
They could eloquently convey those ideas and debate with me, I would sit down with them. Which, I remember the whole Tekashi thing, when no one wanted, and I always think back to that, like, no one wanted to sit down with him, and I said, listen, only way I'm going to sit down with this guy is if he's going to give me the raw truth, and then also I could, at least given what I knew at the time, provide some challenges. Now, granted, like, years later, like, they did mad think pieces about it, saying, well, did you know this detail, this detail, this detail? I wasn't armed with everything at that moment, but I didn't run from the conversation. That's just my view on content, period.
You want customers from ads?
All right, well, that wraps it up with the whole Vladtv and DJ Academics on Andrew Tate. Me personally, just to wrap it up, I think Vlad's a bitch and he's scared. He's picking and choosing, but he forgot where he came from, where people would pick and choose about the information that's put out there. Now you're limiting the information. Now you're limiting somebody's perspective and somebody's voice. It's unfortunate that he came this far just to do the same thing that people were doing to him. It's unfortunate that he came this far to do this onto other people. You're really stopping progress out here. But hey, nonetheless, I'm out. Hope y'all click like, subscribe, enjoy the video. Comment, critique me on the bottom. I don't care. I'm gonna go ahead and read it. I'm gonna go ahead and reply back. And let me know if you want any other reaction videos from me. Peace.